Hey guys, welcome back to the Crypto Picture channel, where I help you see crypto through a clear lens. Today we're going to do a quick analysis on Bitcoin, Ethereum, Polkadot, and Cardano, and we'll also see how Polkastarter and Sora are doing. As always, we're going to start with the Bitcoin chart, as that is the most important. In any relative market cycle that we're in the crypto world, it's always important to look at Bitcoin first. So, I think around here, so around February 20th, 22nd, something like this, I believe when we broke this support level, the red line we had here, we kind of marked this out as an area of interest to have a pullback to. Now, with watching a lot of YouTube channels and stuff like that today, I see a lot of people kind of looking at this level, which is fine. I mean, it doesn't necessarily mean just because everybody's watching it, they're going to end up buying it anyways, right? Like, pulling the trigger and buying when you see like a downtrend like this is definitely takes some psychological strength, right? Because people usually will, people tend to just buy an asset that's printing green candles, right? So we don't like to do that here. We like to look for areas of support, areas of resistance, and play our strategy based on these areas of interest that come into play. So looking at Bitcoin, we are getting down and pretty close to here. So my next thing that I'd be looking for, and the money flow is starting to even out here on the 6 hour. I mean, it doesn't mean a whole lot, but we are, I would really like to see if we're going to front run this. If we come down here and enter this support zone, that's when I will take the cash that I have put on the side from taking some profits and such. I'll probably start averaging back into Bitcoin here based on my buy signals on Cipher. For right now, we are seeing no bullish divergence or anything like that, but we are starting to get into these really oversold levels down here, right? These anchor waves, once they get into these kind of areas, they do like to see bounce backs. So, I mean, we could just be setting up for something like this where we're bouncing up and then coming down and creating a double bottom maybe in this area. But again, we'll have to wait and see. But based on, past performance on Bitcoin, these sell-offs or corrections in a bull market tend to last like around 2 weeks. And that's why I was saying about a week ago, 5 days ago, that I expect at least like a 1 to 2 week correction or consolidation that we're anticipating. So we'll have to see how everything plays off. I'm still macro bullish. Nothing crazy is happening with the Bitcoin chart. I mean, when we go into the monthlies, there are some things that are a little bit worrying, which is, these large wicks to the upside. You don't like to see that, right? But we'll have to see how it goes. If we look at the weekly, we're still, this is one of my first macro exits, is if you see this red line that I've put here, if we come down and we break this line, I won't be selling into the panic. But if we break this line and then we get like a little bit of a, price action going to the upside, I'll probably take like 20 to 30% of my positions, even from my long-term holding account. And I'd probably close my trading account as well. But that's based on if this red line here, the RSI, comes down and gets below this. So what I think is going to happen next week will probably be right at this line. So I'd really like to see what happens in the latter end of next week, like going into the midweek, closer to like Thursday, Friday, and really see where price is sitting from there. Another thing to look out for, and I don't talk about it a whole lot, but as we are starting to get like really overextended, and we are looking for a top to be put in at some point, whether that's now or in 3 months or 5 months or whatever. And I always tell you guys that, I'm not going to sell like just a meaty red candle to the downside. It's just not going to happen, because wherever there's a reaction like this, like a negative reaction, it'll also get a positive reaction. It does not mean that things are just gonna go down, 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 down. You are going to get corrections to the upside, just as when you're going up, you get a correction to the downside. It'll be a vice versa situation. So if we take a Fibonacci pullback level from here to the, let's just say this weekly candle closes where it is, and this is the bottom of the weekly candle as of right now. And let's say this is a market top, you'll get one more opportunity to sell at $52,403, right? Based on the Fibonacci, and it is pretty accurate. And I'll go into the last bull market to show you what I mean. I've already put it here. I just wanted you guys to see how I did it. So if I take a Fibonacci, and how you do this is from the highest point in the rally, right, in that most current rally, and you take it down to the lowest point. So in this case, our correction would have been down to 11,600, and you see how it perfectly came up and touched this Fibonacci level, right? Does that mean you're gonna sell here? Yeah, I mean, you could take a little bit of profits here just to be on the safe side, right? You got a second opportunity here for a really nice sell, right? So, that's why I'm not really too worried when I see prices going down, because the reaction that we get from the sell-off is what will dictate the end or the, continuation of a bull market to me personally, right? So, just so you guys can rest a little bit easier, knowing the fact that we're not looking at selling these levels. We're always looking at this in a bull market as a buying opportunity, because let's say you are starting to buy the bottom levels of this current candle, well then, even if it goes back to the upside, like, this is pretty significant. Like, I mean, even if you were to sell it 2 weeks later and it still couldn't break the 0.618, you made 54.44% profit there before getting a pullback and reversing, right? And look, you got a perfect close on the weekly. So on Sunday, 2 weeks from now, if we see that we're still unable to get above this 0.618 level, it might be a really good time to start thinking about taking profits. And I'll keep you guys up to date with that. And if you compare the market top being like 19, 20,000, this would have gotten you out at roughly, $16,180. So, there's a lot of things that I'm looking at. One thing to mention is that there's a really interesting chart I shared in the Telegram group from Crypto Thai or something like this, and it kind of illustrates the fact that we're here, right? And that's what I've been kind of saying, like with this 3-4 month range that I brought up, in like early February, right? This would give us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more weeks of upside, and it would just be straight parabolic, and all these altcoins would be like doubling and tripling in value over this period of time, if not more, depending on the altcoin you're in. And then this would really tell us like, okay, that's a top, right? So if we go and look at that right now, so here's the first correction, second correction, and that's what I was saying. The weekly candle right now looks very similar to this. It's like a bullish engulfing candle, or sorry, a bearish engulfing candle, which means the red candle basically eats the entire green candle. And typically in the traditional market, this would be a really like bearish sign, and you'd want to get out of the market. But one thing we do know about Bitcoin is that it loves to scare people and surprise people. So we got this bullish engulfing candle, and it was telling us it's getting pretty close to the end of the bull market, but it still gave us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks of like just the most bullish price action that you've seen in this entire bull market. Like, these candles were huge. So there is still some room for that. Another thing that kind of makes me a little bit easier when it comes to how I feel about crypto at the moment is this. We're still seeing Bitcoin dominance struggle to increase in value versus altcoins, right? So if this was a true market sell, you would start seeing this Bitcoin dominance just go up and up and up. And if we go to a weekly time frame on here, okay, let's go look at this. Okay, so this was the end of the rally, right? So look, in January, right, where the bull market ended, if we start seeing this, like a big bullish engulfing green candle on Bitcoin dominance, and it's like I told you guys, I'm never going to sell the absolute top. I might get lucky and pick up the bottom or close to it, but I'm not really trying to catch absolute bottoms or absolute tops. I just want to get within 20 to 30% of those ranges. So if we get a weekly bullish candle like this green one that we saw after this consolidation zone, and all coins were going crazy here, if we see this, then I will start to consider exiting my positions or putting them in Bitcoin depending on how we're looking, because we did get this prior, right? Like we saw some of these bullish engulfing candles, but I'd really like to see it have a break of structure. So in this scenario, it's like if we get a bullish weekly, like a big bullish candle closing above, somewhere around here, right? Give or take a few percent. Yeah, around 64, 65%. So if we got a confirmation close and a big giant green candle closing above these levels, I would start to reconsolidate into Bitcoin and cash from my altcoins. As of right now, I'm still hanging on to those positions. So I'm going to switch to the regular candles, not the Hakanashi show, so I can show you guys something. If we look on the 12-hour, we're starting to see some bullish buy pressure here, right? We'll see how this candle closes, but if we can get a huge wick to the bottom side here, it could mean that we're going to see some bullish price action to the upside. I'm really curious because now that we're below this level, right, this now becomes resistance, right? So I'm really going to be looking to see how we react with this level and also another level, and this is saying that we're in a macro top. Will Ethereum also have this retest of the 0.618 before it continues down? So we'll have to see if that's going to happen on Ethereum. I mean, we have a lot less to go off of, but if I switch to the weekly, it doesn't really look like we got the same retest. We might have actually. Let's take a look here. So if we take this measured move here from the top of the Ethereum rally to the first crazy pullback, so actually we got a full test of about the 0.706. So looking at this, like we're not selling these red candles. This is just letting us know, like, hey, be cautious here, and maybe if we get like a green candle, we want to be a little bit more cautious here as opposed to how we were prior, because these are very bearish candles, right? But again, yeah, I mean, we didn't really see any of that apart from right here. We saw a huge red candle, and here we saw a huge red candle. So we'll have to see how that pans out. There is one thing though on the monthly that does concern me currently about the current market structure, which is it's recovered quite a bit, but before we were kind of just like, it looked like it was going to be a shooting star candle, and that was a little bit worrisome, but we are starting to recover here a little bit. I would really like to see us by end of day today close about 14.5, 14.50. I mean, it's not a beautiful monthly candle, and we're closing it pretty soon, so I'll have to see how this progresses and see what happens there. but I'll keep you guys posted. Main thing I'm watching is the Bitcoin price, because honestly, we can chart Ethereum against dollars all day long, but you know, Bitcoin will just drag it up. If Bitcoin continues bullish, it will just drag the rest of the market up with it, and some of them will outperform Bitcoin and some of them will not. Looking at Polkadot here, you know, Polkadot and Cardano, oh my god, I've been so happy that I used Polkadot and Cardano as my Ethereum kind of like just offsetting my risk taking with Ethereum, and it's worked out really well. Like, they're down obviously quite a bit as well, but they're holding really nicely here, and the market structure almost looks nicer than Bitcoin or Ethereum's, in all honesty. So again, we're starting to see some bulls step in here and buy back these prices. The oscillator still has room to the downside, right? On the 6 hour, we may see this type of like inverse head and shoulders pattern. We'll have to see how that progresses. We've broken out of the bullish control zone, but I'm not really too worried unless we break this level right here. Maybe we come down, set a double bottom on the RSI, and then continue upwards. Really, again, is going to be dictated by whatever Bitcoin decides to do here. If we do get that front run from the 42, if we get that front run from the 42 level and it doesn't even make it down here to 42, 41, that'll be a really, really good sign in my opinion. Cardano, again, really holding up really, really nicely. This one is still continuing to hold the 6 hour bullish control zone. So we'll have to see how it progresses going forward. So in yesterday's video, I was talking about Polkastarter maybe coming down here, creating this double bottom before breaking on upwards. So if you recall, I said, oh, it might do something like this and then break up. Again, really depends on whatever Bitcoin decides to do. We'll have to see, but I've been holding this one since like $1 or something, right? So I'm okay. I'm still in a fair amount of profit here. So I'm going to continue to hold my Polkastarter position. If we break this to the downside, then I'll think about exiting the majority of my position, maybe 50%. And then I'll be looking at this next level roughly in this area here and see how we hold there. If we break this level, then I'll probably just go back into Bitcoin or cash, depending on how the market's looking. But this is a nice area of support here. So I mean, we could just bounce around in here and then come down to this support level naturally and then take off. But it does look good enough for us to have a nice continuation up from here. Again, depending on Bitcoin and Ethereum. XOR, I also mentioned it coming back down to this red line just the other day. Looks like we've perfectly done that. We're getting a 6 hour go long signal. I'm still holding my XOR position. I'm also getting that airdrop of like, I don't know how much it equates to now, but roughly like 2,000 US dollars. So even if this one went all the way down, I would still come out on the other side with, you know, some form of profit. So yeah, we'll have to see how it goes. But I mean, this looks like bullish continuation to me. It's just retesting previous highs. So we'll have to see how that goes. But until next time, guys, have a good one. Please like, subscribe, Telegram group. The link is down below in the description, as well as the Market Cipher affiliate link. Until next time.